Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Goblin Ringleader podcast. And today we're going to be looking over the Lorywn spoilers. I'm super excited. We have goblins in standard once again. It's going to be amazing. Then we're going to play some games before you start. Thank you all so much for being here. As we cruise closer and closer to 7K, it really just doesn't feel real. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of my Goblin family. Let's jump into the spoilers. I want to kind of started off with the colorless artifacts because as crazy as this is, these cards can be played in any of the colors with any of the kindred types. So I think that the first card that I want to talk about today is Chronicle of Victory. 6 mana for a legendary artifact. As it enters, you choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +2/+2 first strike and trample. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, you draw a card. So it's Glimpse of Nature on a huge buff, and it gives your creatures of the chosen type 2 keywords. So you get some first strike and trample. First strike is important for attacking and blocking, I'll be honest. If you have multiple creatures that have this buff and get first strike, you can hold back your creatures, and your opponents really can probably never profitably attack again. And then if you ever decide to get aggressive, it gives them trample, so they're able to just push damage and just crush your opponent. So I think this card is going to be very strong. EDH staple, playable in other formats? I don't know, but seems cool. Mirror Mind Crown is also awesome. 4 mana for an artifact. It's an equipment. It's 4 mana, equip 2. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, the first time you create one or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of the equipped creature. It's really cool because you put this on something that you otherwise would not have access to, like multiples of, and it just kind of takes over the game. I'm imagining you put this on something with a relevant ETB. I'm thinking about playing this with Krenko. What creature are we going to enchant with or equip with Krenko on the field? It's not Krenko itself, obviously, because it's a legend, but you equip it to a creature, you tap Krenko, you make a bunch of tokens, but actually the tokens of the thing. You can make it a Goblin Lord. You can do pretty much anything with it. Of course, we have the Return of the Shocks, and beautiful art on these shocks. Then we go to the multicolored spells. We have a new evoke creature. Vibrance is 5 mana for a 4/4 double hybrid red-green. When this creature enters, if double red was spent to cast it, this creature deals 3 damage to any target. When this creature enters, if green was spent to cast it, search a library for a land, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle, you gain 2, and you can evoke it for double red, double green. Simple, elegant, awesome. I think this card's pretty cool. I really want to talk about Grub's Command. This is a goblin sorcery. So it's 5 mana, choose 2. Create a token as a copy target goblin you control. Creatures target player controls gets +1/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Destroy target artifact or creature. Target player mills 5 cards and puts each goblin card milled this way into their hand. So you can kill a creature, draw cards. You can buff your team, or make an extra goblin, buff your team, and any other combination of those abilities is very, very strong. Sinar, innovative first year. I don't really see being played too much in Goblins. However, it's really good in just general 5-color shenanigans. It's 4 mana for a 2/4, Vivid. Beginning of your first main phase, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X non-land cards with X the number of colors among permanents you control. For each of those colors, you may exile a card of that color from among the revealed cards. Then shuffle, you may cast the exiled cards this turn. It doesn't say for free, but it's card advantage. You're every turn looking through your deck. The hits are maze, so you may exile them even if you look at all the cards. You don't have to, and I think that's pretty cool. Abigail is sweet. It's hybrid double white, double black for a 1/1 flying first strike lifelink. When it enters, up to one other target creature loses all abilities. Put a flying first strike lifelink counter on that creature. Somebody, when this card was being spoiled, talked about Yargle. If you just put this on a Yargle, you have a flying first strike lifelink Yargle to try to deal with. That seems super sweet. Merfolk, we're going to talk about them. We don't play Merfolk, but it's a cool card. Deepway Navigator is 2 mana for a flash 2/2. When this creature enters, untap each of the Merfolk you control. As long as you attack with 3 or more Merfolk, this turn Merfolk get +1/+0. So it's a Lord on the attack, and you can flash it in to ready the troops, if you will, and then they can all block and eat your opponent, eat the attackers. Besides that, the rest of the multicolored spells are pretty well known. We have some really cool changelings and the commons and uncommon slot, but what I really want to talk about are the mythics that were spoiled and some of the rares. First off, Bloom Tender's coming back. much needed reprint for EDH. It's back in standard. So you see what Bloom Tender does. We have a Pun Meek Attack. 5 mana for an enchantment. You can pay 2. Then you may put a creature card with total power and toughness 5 or less from your hand on the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Beginning of the next end step, sack that creature. So it doesn't require you to tap. You can do this multiple times in the same turn. And it's really interesting because you just chuck your little dudes into play knowing that they're going to die. But they do get haste, and it doesn't require you to pay full cost. Now, what are you going to be throwing into play with this? You could be putting in a meteor. No, meteor golem doesn't work. Something that has very high CMC, very low power toughness. The first thing that I thought of with this was Unstoppable Slasher. If you chuck an Unstoppable Slasher into play, then when it gets sacrificed, it doesn't die. It just comes back with 2 stun counters on it, and then you can keep attacking with it next turn. Really good, fast way to take your opponent's life away. Oko is really interesting. Anytime Oko comes back, we have to talk about him. 3 mana for a Planeswalker, enters with 3 loyalty. At the end of your first main phase, you may play a green. If you do, transform Oko. +2, up to 1 target creature gains all creature types. The effect doesn't end. That's important because you can just permanently make something a Merfolk or a Goblin, and then it's either good or bad depending on what your opponent has. You can also +1 to target creature gets -2/-1 until end of your turn, so it's kind of like a pseudo protection. Then the flip, if you pay to green during your first main phase, is -1 mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among them into your hand. -3 make 2 3/3 elk creature tokens, and -6 choose a creature type. You get an emblem with creatures you control of the chosen type. You get +3/+3 vigilance and hexproof. So it comes down to 3 loyalty. You can up to protect your thing. You can immediately flip the next turn by paying a green, and then you can immediately down tick because let's say you use the +1. You're able to shrink your opponent's attacker so it wasn't able to hit the Oko for any damage, or you already have blockers down, and then you're able to immediately start generating 3/3s. And then the cool thing about Oko on the backside is a lot of flip walkers have no way to return to their original side. So once you flip the Oko, the next main phase, you can pay a blue and flip him back, and then uptick him. So I'm thinking it goes something like this. You go +1, -3, +2, -3. Okay, the Wi-Fi died on me, but we got it back. We got it connected. I think the last thing that I was talking about was Oko. Every time that we see Oko, it's busted. This time, not so much. I do think that Aurora Awakener is going to be really good in 5-color domain decks in EDH, and possibly could even be played in some standard decks. Not 1,000%, but I think it could be good. 7 mana for a 7/7. When a creature enters the field, reveal cards from the top of your library to reveal X permanent cards, or X the number of colors among permanents you control. Put any number of those permanent cards on the battlefield, then put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your library in any order. And so it counts the number of permanent cards you control. It doesn't require them to all be of the same color. So let's say you have Leyline of the Guild Pact in play. You can play mono green and flip 5 permanents. It does hit lands, which is not the greatest. But if you just play a deck that's full of permanents, it's kind of amazing. Bloom Tender's back in standard. Champion of the Weird is a Goblin. 4 mana for a 5/5. It's an additional cost to cast. You behold a Goblin and exile it. Pay 1 life, blight 2, which means you put 2 -1/-1 counters on creatures you control, on a creature you control. Target opponent blights 2. Will activate only as a sorcery. So, and when this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled creature to its owner's hand. So you can do some really cool things with this card. It comes down, and let's say you just need removal. You don't really care about, you have a board, but you need to get through some blockers. You can play this for 4, reveal a 1-drop in your hand, and exile it. Then you can pay a life to put 2 -1/-1 counters on this creature, making it a 3/3, but also making your opponent put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature they control. Then you can do that a second time, and even a third time. As you put the last counters on this creature, it dies, and you get the 1-drop back that you exile from your hand. And you've basically to give one creature, if they only have one creature, -6/-6, or to take out multiple tiny creatures. So I think this card might actually be good. And even though it's only as a sorcery, you still have the ability to choose when and where you want to do it. And if you have a huge board, if you have a Krenko, for example, you're tapping Krenko to make tokens every single turn. You can put the blight counters on one of the tokens. It dies, but that doesn't really matter. And then you can just repeatedly, at as much life as you're willing to pay, nuke your opponent's board the entire game. So I think Champion of Weird is actually really good. Glenn Alendra's Answer is definitely an EDH card, phrased specifically for EDH. 4 mana for an instant. The spell can't be countered. Counter all spells your opponents control and all abilities your opponents control. Create a 1/1 blue and black fairy creature token with flying for each spell and ability countered this way. So you ever get in EDH where there's a giant stack, people are countering people's stuff, and there's all sorts like deflecting SWAT, everything's going crazy. Glenn Alendra's Answer, you're literally like, you know what? All of that's gone, and I get bodies. I think that card's amazing in EDH. Not so good in Standard or any other constructed format, but I think in EDH would be fun. Curious Colossus is 7 mana for a 7/7. When it enters, each creature target opponent controls loses all abilities, becomes a coward in addition to its other types, and its base power 1/1. This does not say end of turn. Another card that we're going to be talking about soon does not say until end of turn. So it feels like these cards are very pushed because they are permanent changes to the battlefield. And Curious Colossus, when it comes down, if you're playing deck that it doesn't hurt is the Ouroboros deck. But if you're playing Curious Colossus comes down and makes your boards 1/1s and says, ha, your creatures are cowards. What's up, Matt? Appreciate you dropping in. The Goblin support seems so much better than the some modern Goblins brewing on MTGO. Yes, big shout out to my buddy. Oh my god, drop my head. My buddy Matt. One of the best. What is it? Samwise combo players that I've ever met. Really good Yawgmoth player. Really good. There was another junk combo deck. It was Samwise, and there was another one. But if you're talking about creature combo deck, Matt's the guy that we want to have on our side. And to hear that he's interested in brewing modern Goblins is going to be a big shot in my arm because it's nice to have somebody else to talk to the lists about. All right, what's up, Derek? Appreciate you dropping in. Looking for cards that disrupt or improve the current meta. So let's just skip down to Hexing Squelcher. 2 mana, ward, pay 2 life. Spells you control can't be countered. Other creatures you control have ward, pay 2 life. This is our better 2. We've been looking for a good 2-drop. This is an amazing 2-drop in our Goblins deck, and it makes it so that we cast this with a Cavern. They can never counter any of our spells. It means that it also says spells. It doesn't say creature spells, anything. No conditions. Also, there's so many type lines on this type bar. I thought for sure it was a legend the first time I looked at it, but these can stack. You can have 5. Yes, with Mirror Form, we will be playing 5 of these. I do want to make this deck, but you could have up to 4 of these in play, right? And every time that they target or cast a spell to kill one, they're going to take 8 damage. Mirror Form is a card I want to talk about. 6 mana, instant. Each non-land permanent you control becomes a copy of target non-aura permanent. It can target a land. It can also target your opponent's Crater Hoof. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It already had a CTB, bad example. But you get what I'm saying. You pick the best creature on the battlefield, and all of your non-land permanents turn into that creature permanently. Or, in older formats, you can target Smothering Tithe. All your treasures become copies of Smothering Tithe. Just be careful if someone's going to redirect. They can redirect Lightning this to target one of your lands, and then all of your non-land permanents become lands, and you probably lose. But it's a really cool design. I think it looks really cool. Besides that, I think the Convoke mechanic is really good in this set. Selfless Safe Right, 5 mana for a 4/2 with Flash and Convoke. When this creature enters, choose a creature type. Other permanents you control of that type gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So it could be a 2 mana flash. All things besides this get hexproof and indestructible, and that's pretty good. Besides that, there's really only a couple more that I wanted to talk about. I think Lava Leaper is really good. 4 mana for a 4/4. All creatures have haste. Whenever a player taps a basic land for mana, player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. So you play this in mono red, where you play all mountains, and you untap on turn 5 with 10 mana. actually insane. Winnowing is 6 mana for a sorcery with Convoke. I immediately wanted to play this in Boros Goblins. For each player, you choose a creature that player controls. Then each player sacrifices all other creatures they control that don't share a creature type with the chosen creature they control. You choose 2 creatures, one for each player, each of us. In this situation, it would be you and I. So I choose a creature that both of us control. I choose a creature that you control and a creature that I control, and we sack all other creatures that don't have the same creature type as that. I choose a goblin, and you probably have a couple different creature types because most people don't play Kindred. Probably worse after this set comes out, if I'm being honest. But and then it's like a one-sided wrath, which is actually insane. Honorable mention: Iron Shield Elf is a 2 mana discard outlet. Free discard outlets are always busted, so this is good to see. Harmonized Crescendo is interesting. For an instant, convoke, choose a creature type, draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. Simple, elegant, awesome. I think the Champions of the Perfect card is actually busted, but people don't really like it. 4 mana for a 6/6 Elf Warrior. Behold an elf as you cast it. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, and this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. It's a 4 mana 6/6. It's gotta be good. The new Goblin that prevents countering, though. Also, the card that's an instant win with Splinter Twin. Yeah, no, we just talked about ridiculous. Immediately slots into so many decks. I would say in the conversation for probably one of the best goblins of all time. Like, yes, it's annoying. The ward is annoying. You can still kill it with a murder. It doesn't matter what kind. However, making your spells uncounterable in a creature type that really wants to resolve your spells is huge. Then there's a bunch of other support. You can look at all this stuff. I'm not really going to read through all of this, but again, just beautiful things to see. It's really awesome. Tomorrow we're going to be getting some more stuff, and yeah, I just can't wait to explore more Lorywn. So let's jump into some arena. Going to be playing some standard tonight. I'm very excited. Definitely putting Hexing Swelter in your Krenko EDH deck. I thought it was a legend. I looked at Hexing Swelter and I was like, oh, this is a legend. This is really cool. And then I found out it was not a legend. And I was like, I can have 2 of those in play. There's a double X red spell from Edge of Eternities where you can make X copies of a thing. So you're just like, I would like to make, 15 of these Hexing Squelchers. You want to bolt something? You die. All right, we're gonna play some Boros Goblins. We lost round 1 yesterday to Mono Red Aggro. Then we beat up on Is It Lessons pretty well. Got a couple quesadillas in front of me. They're pretty cold now. I got my Cholula. Good old Cholula. Oh, I love Cholula. Vexing Shusher is a throwback, I think, to the original Lorywn. Whenever I look for good goblins to play in modern, I always run into that one. I'm like, should I play this? For sure. Appreciate you dropping in. Really appreciate you being here. Okay. It feels like nobody's in the leagues. So let's see. Just go to the ladder. Ranked? Best of one, best of three? I don't think I like the Curiosity as much as I like this 4th Frostcliff Siege. Go to 2 Consults, the 4th Draconic, cut the Soulstone, Golden Mountain. Yeah, let's try it like this. I promised yesterday that I would play Is It, so we can't play the event because we're playing Boros. And away we go. It's not like I don't have plays. I mean, if I naturally draw a land, I can get down the Frostcliff Siege next turn. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Definitely want to do this. Trample and haste, please. Alright, if we have another land, which we do, I can play. We can make it blue and play both of these creatures. We can warp in the Riddler. And then we can play the Draconotics Engineer. Go to combat. They're going to get lost the Riddler. Parting Guest, sure. Jesus. Good game, opponent. Okay. Yeah, this Is It list is very fast. Even on a sketchy keep like that, we can do some crazy things. I mean, I think that overall, the blue-red siege is very undervalued. It's very, very strong. Every time I play with it, it does some busted things. And then on top of that, there's very few decks in the format that get to play Riddler with haste. I think that if you're playing the siege, you're the only person in the room who really plays with haste, and it's 5 power with haste, and then in the future it's another 5 power with haste. Oh, that's the one thing I wanted to put in this deck for next time. I'll try this. I think I want to put Nova Hellgate in this deck. I think that would be really cool. Play Draconotics Engineer. Control A. I know they're going to counter it, and that's fine. If they were going to counter something, we'd rather them counter that. No land drop is interesting. Go to combat and get my trigger. Oh. Oh. Attack with everything. Get lost the Dragonotics. Consult for 2. Desculpting Blast. Interesting. I guess that does work. That art is beautiful. Place Spyglass Siren and crack the map. They draw. Play their 3rd land. This is the turn to resolve something. Frostcliff Siege. Combat attack for 7. They take 6 if they do this. This is good. If they board wipe, I get to go Bastronaut, Seer Slicer. Get Dragonotics down. I'll leave up the Flood Maw. Combat. Three, 6, 10. Let's just do this. Sure. It's not bad. I think I'll just unsummon the end. Make sure my damage goes through. If I draw a land, I can just make a dragon, and the dragon is a 5/4 with haste. And trample. It's cold outside, got nowhere left to go. Is there anyone out there? 'Cause it's getting hungry. Let's see if they replay the Yang. Yeah. But we got them to tap out. That's all we needed, was for them to tap out again. They block the Dragonotics. They take 8. Good game, opponent. They were doing cool stuff. We saw Malcolm, No More Lies. I've never seen desculpting. That's weird to say. Desculpting Blast, but that looked cool. All right, let's keep going. Maybe it's a brew of their own innovation. You'd love to see a brew in the wild. Is there anyone out there? 'Cause it's getting harder and harder to breathe. It's cold outside and I got nowhere to go. I'm eating my spinach, I'm sorry. I don't eat enough vegetables. I'll be honest. I'm a goblin. I like my meat. Can I just say in the latest YouTube shorts, you're looking super Hey, that means a lot. Thank you so much for dropping it, Ed. I send you the great. I send you nothing but the best vibes, and I hope you have a great night. So we get to get in. We get to advance our speed. Get a seer slicer down. New year, new goblin. You know, I'm trying to. It's weird. I cut my hair. Try to keep things, a little bit more neat. I was getting headaches a lot, just from having the long hair, and it really pulls in. It's weird. I had hair down to here, which is crazy. I'd never had hair down past my chin. Even it was like the shortest I ever had. It was like here, like from the top down to here, and then I just like was growing it out. I was having fun with it. Opponent is racing. I'm so confused. They must have like a board wipe or something. I bet their goal is to get a Kaido down as fast as possible, but if we take away their creature, then they can't get a Kaido down. I think this is fine. If this is their game plan, we're totally okay with this. Combat. They can't really block any of these. Let's still be smart and pump separate ones. What's up, the sandwich? They call you the sandwich? Hey, you know what? Goblins salute the sandwich. All right, so they had a removal spell for the Bastronaut. We get to buff the Bastronaut twice. How's your day going, the sandwich? I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for dropping in. So we deal 6, 7, 8. I don't know, opponent. I don't know if this is the way. Blocks. I mean, I'll take the Riddler. Nowhere to run is fine. I didn't invest any mana in it. So they go to 2. We get the Riddler back. I get to go Riddler. Draconautics. Stadium Headliner. And if I would have made this blue, I would be able to hardcast the Riddler next turn. So, note to self, always make it your second blue source if you don't have a second blue source. Well, that's the way it goes. All right. This has felt so far very strong. Yeah, I think probably Diaz's deck has more legs against the field if you're talking about overall. But I think the Boros deck is slightly better in like the RCQ meta right now because of the fact that all of the decks are trying to play like green, slow, like grindy decks. The little bit of speed that you lose from going to is that probably is worse for you in the RCQ scenario. However, I think that overall it's very close. And both decks are probably great. This we're gonna miss having burn spells. Double Badger Mole. Innkeeper's Talent, sure. Mm, Warp the Riddler. No attacks. I think we're in trouble. Already growing way too fast. Yeah. Two counters on the Ouroboros. Also gives it trample. And this is what happens. This is what I was talking about earlier. If the blue cards that we have were just removal spells, we could have A dealt with the Ouroboros or B dealt with the Badger Mole. So we'd be in a slightly better spot. But I think overall this is going to happen some games. We've gotten very lucky so far. Also, I think if we're on the play and we get to draw a land there, we're in a, I want to say almost a guaranteed spot because we're able to chump block till the rest of the time with Krenko. Krenko coming back, or the Ouroboros decks being so popular is the reason I want Krenko to come back because of the fact that it makes our Ouroboros matchup so good because we get to infinitely chump block. Like it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy how much we can just grind against the four color, or not four color, the four mana decks where they're like, okay, we're going to do something on turn four. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm going to do something on turn four. You will die. Keep getting these two land hands with Riddler. I almost think I just want to get the Dragonautics down. This is Blood Artist for only their creatures. I can go Spire Bluff. Howl Squad. Attack for 3. I guess if I have all of the cards like this, I'm okay with going Cranko on 4, drawing a land next turn, going Frostcliff plus Warp, and then just push so much damage it's not even funny. One more look at a land next turn. We already have double. Already have double blue. Full control. Go to combat. Full control. This trigger can resolve. Then before we move to the declare attacker step, I would like to tap Krenko. Then I'd like to go to attacks. Attack like this. Sephiroth is pretty good. They probably thought that they would flip it there. However, it's only during your turn. Oh, no, it doesn't say during your turn. I don't understand why it didn't flip then. No, I'm good. I think we can race. Perfect. So we go Siege, Trample Haste, Warp a Riddler, draw cards, tap Krenko. Well, we could have had one more token, but that's fine. Attack. Frostcliff Siege, man. Actually insane. What is that? 16, 26 plus 6 is 32 plus. So this is 32, 34, 39 damage. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's run it back. Let's run it back. I think that the best thing that we have going for us right now is the fact that a lot of decks that are trying to kill their stuff don't really have a good way of finishing the game. This deck really struggles versus a deck that can go kill your stuff and here's a threat. A lot of decks have one or the other right now. There's like a lot of all-in control decks that play burn spells to win. And there's also a pretty decent amount of just creature decks that are like, here's my creatures, here's my creatures, I'm not going to interact. The Ouroboros deck is a good example of that. And we have a really good Ouroboros matchup because of the fact that we're like, oh, you're not going to interact? Well, we can just go faster than you. And then the decks that are trying to kill all of our stuff, we have enough threats where after them killing all of our stuff, we somehow still have bodies to play. The Lessons deck is an amazing example of this. They have 12 removal spells. But besides that, they don't really have a good way to deal with our stuff. So as long as we don't play into sweepers, we have the advantage pretty easily in that matchup. This looks like it's just got control, so we're going to play it pretty slow. Iroh's Demonstration is probably just a completely dead card. Normalize is okay. Got to get that out of the hand. We do have 2 dead cards in our hand. Stock up is good. Our main deck is built to dunk on the Ouroboros decks that are not trying to interact, like I was saying. Post board, we cut our Krenkos in this matchup, especially. We cut our Krenkos usually for Sunspine Lynx, and then Lynx just does so much work. It's actually crazy. Let's see what they do. Let's get the Howl Squad Heavy down. We don't get the token. I was thinking it was going to be an actual removal spell. I didn't expect this because I could have left at the end of the Flood Maw. They would have taken this and I would have immediately gotten it back. Well, I'm glad they did that because I actually should not have done that. They would have just exiled my Howl Squad, and that would have been horrible. Day Judgment is good. Here's a Sear Slicer. If Iroh's Demonstration was a Lightning Strike or a Burst Lightning, I'd feel much better about this position. Helix is fine. Play the Stadium Headliner. Pass it over. Causes Flanker. Gain 2 Scry 2. Two to the bottom. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna have a target. I'm actually gonna be able to cast this Iroh's Demonstration in the control matchup. Get a Sear Slicer down. This means that I'm attacking for 5 next turn. Pitch the Inevitable Defeat because they can't cast it. Ultima's fine. Another Stadium Headliner. I believe in us. We can do this. Helix is fine. Hey, what's up, Tim? Appreciate you dropping in. How's your day going? Missed you, bro. Sorry I haven't been to Modern in like a billion years. Oh, I just came out of hibernation, so I'll be going Wednesdays and Thursdays, going starting soon. Yeah, we don't got much going on. Oh, for sure. That's my bad, bro. I forgot. Yeah, I'll be at pre-release though, 1000%. I'm gonna try to do all of them again, all the pre-releases. Uh, Box opening on the channel is actually gonna be the last box opening that I'm gonna do on the channel for a little while. I'm not super excited about the rest of the sets this year. I'm still gonna like talk about them. I'm still gonna do spoilers and everything. I'm just not gonna open collector boxes for them. It's just like doing Final Fantasy, Avatar, and Spider-Man collector boxes was not worth it. Like, just felt horrible the whole time. Uh, Draconautics, make a dragon, give it haste. Oh, and they have the inevitable defeat. Okay, they just need any spell. I could have. Yeah, no, goblins look amazing right now. Yeah, exactly. ROI not good on the Universes Beyond boxes, 1000%. But we open them because we love the channel and like I I promised people I was like, well, it started as like a milestone. It was like if we hit 1,000, then I'll open the Innistrad Remastered box, and we smashed 1,000. So then we did it, and then it just became something we're doing for every set. And my wallet is not that big. I was definitely cutting it close getting them, and it definitely was tight. Made money problems tight. Even if I sacked one to kill one, I would be down a blocker. It was a good game though. A long and arduous journey. Spider-Man was awful ROI. Final Fa- I agree. Final Fantasy didn't feel bad. However, I think I like killed it on my box. Probably got over $700 worth of cards. Because when I opened it, it was like before there was a lot of cards in the market, and I got the Surge Foil Sephiroth, the Surge Foil Yuna. Those cards by themselves were like $300 each. Um, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to sell them. Then my buddy was like really big into Final Fantasy. He wanted the Sephiroth for his commander deck, and he's one of my oldest Magic friends. Played commander with him for the longest time, so I gave it to him. I sold it to him for $300. I think it was 270. I think, and because it was starting to go down, so I was like, okay, sure. And then it spiked up to 700. Like the card is ridiculously expensive now. And the Una, I think I got rid of for $200. Then like we had like the rest of the box. So I agree. Final Fantasy was like really well. However, if I would have just like kept the box sealed and sold it, which again, I don't do resales. When I buy product, it's to consume, to open, and then to play with the cards. So that's like honestly, Final Fantasy was the first time that I had ever like since like being a young Magic player when you just crack a box and sell the cards immediately. Um, I have this thing where I say I don't sell cards. It's one of my rules as a Magic player is like Magic is more fun when they game pieces and you stop thinking about it as like, a monetary investment. And yes, there's that aspect of it. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to think about the game that I love in that way. And, the price tag of Final Fantasy shattered that illusion for me. and it actually got me to sell some of the cards that I opened because I got like the stupid expensive ones. However, it's kind of crazy to look back and be like, yeah, I spent that much money on that many sets last year. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe, what could I have done with that money if I saved it instead? So, yeah, that was Is It Goblins. I think we went 4-2. At the beginning of the episode, we talked about Lorywn spoilers. We had a little bit of Wi-Fi issues, so you can go back to the beginning. It might be kind of choppy, but when we get my hotspot set up, it looks like it was pretty good from that point on. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 o'clock p.m. CST, to play some more Goblins. Tomorrow's Pioneer. We stream Goblins in every format. Every day is a different format. Monday is Standard, Tuesday's Pioneer, Wednesday's Pauper, Thursday's Modern, Friday's Vintage. And then Saturday is either RCQs or challenges here or out in the field. And Sunday is a fun day stream. We just do whatever we want. But if you enjoy Goblins content, if you enjoy us, we ramble, hit like and subscribe. The easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. If you want to do more, support the channel, $1 a month gets your name right out in every stream. I'm going to read off the members. And you also have the Patreon. We also have the Patreon now, where if you want to support me, there's tiered support over on the Patreon. You can support me in my magic journey, help me go to these RCQs, these big energies, and we document it all. When we go to these big tournaments, I try to vlog as much of it as I can. I'm going to work on doing a better job of taking actual videos and having. I'm going to try to invest in a good camera. I'm going to try to do get some good editing software so I can increase the production quality, because I want to take y'all along for the ride. And the fact that my magic family is growing as big as it is, it just makes me incredibly happy and incredibly grateful. I'm just grateful to have so many people around me, even if they're not super interested in Goblins. They like to hang out, and that means the world to me. So in the Patreons, we have the Real 2CU and your account as Green Goblins. We also have Adam as a Krenkle Mob Boss, absolute legend. You're funny, Tim. Hey, you know what? It's about that time. We had to hit the number eventually, and now we keep rising. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 777. So from the top, Alpha Ronan, Tim's Top Decks, Elias Sutter, The Darth Newt, ADDY 100K, Jarrett, Munster Man, and Annan, Roberio, Cypher 777, The High Wumpus, AJR, B Rhyme, Corvisker, Sliver of Nope, Scott McIntosh, Javier Hugo, Valeroth, Yormiger, Terrieth, Needle Burrito, Trucker Philosophy, The Green Ranger, Stanton McCain. What is it? Now we have The Sergeant Farmer, Danny Alexandria, and it's Uncooked Burrito, I think. I want to make sure I say this right. Are the new YouTube members. And it really just means the world to me that y'all are here. Oh, and there's a new one. So yeah, it's the most recent ones are Danny Alexandria. So it's the Green Ranger, Stanton McCain, Danny Alexandria, Uncooked Burrito, the Sergeant Farmer, and Hilltop Healthy. Thank you all so much Thank you so much for watching. It really means the world to me. I'll see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock p.m. CST. Until next time, I hope you have a beautiful night. Peace.